Legalized already did it. We should be live. What's up, everybody? Live before live. MLB Strategy Show, Tuesday, July 30th. 14 game slate, so Laffy and I get an extra 5 minutes of banter that we don't have to cover that 15th game. How'd your Monday shake out?
Not bad, man. Not bad. The pitching, though, my God. I mean, you look at so many of Paddock went 5 innings, was okay. Corbin was very solid, but Smith gave up, 4 or so runs. He had a bunch of strikeouts, but outside of that, it was rough.
I'll be honest. I stopped looking at baseball yesterday immediately after Iglesias' grand slam because I played 0% Reds.
Yeah, I mean, it
turned out okay, but yeah, I
just
was like
0 Reds.
It was like 1%, but not 14 or whatever we had the public at.
Yeah, I mean, and then you got like David Hess, who is one of the chalkiest pitchers, got blown up. I think he gave up 4 home runs. So
craziness, just craziness. I've got lineup study pulled up. Boss man almost got there in the 50K to first, finished 9th, just a little bit back. Single bullet took it down 50K.
Damn.
Single bullet took 3rd as well. 5-man Padres stack, 3-man Rockies stack. Caleb Smith, John Gray combo. Whoa, were we talking about Smith being bad? 26 fantasy points.
No, not bad. Just a bunch of these guys gave up a lot of runs and still got the strikeouts.
John Gray, 28 points. Pat myself on the back for that one.
Yeah, that was. I know Adam had some interest too. 8 one-run innings.
Yeah. If he's going to be unowned, it's still. I mean, he got to 6.8, which is a little bit higher than I would have expected. Although this is a bigger tournament, so I'm not totally surprised. But that's worth the shot there, no matter how scary it is. His stuff is different. Machado killed me, man. He was my home run pick. 5 dongs from the Padres, not from Machado, but he was still like 3 for 4 or something stupid.
Yeah.
It's like the 3rd or 4th day in a row I've done this. Freddie Freeman was 1 for 1 with 4 walks and like 4 runs scored a couple days ago.
Did you see the Reds outside of Iglesias? It was like Votto 3 for 4, 3 singles. Who was leading off? Was it Wing? I can't remember. Was it Winker leading off? I don't remember who it was. But like 3 for 4, 3 singles. They had 11 runs and 3 extra base hits.
I unintentionally got to like double the field of Merrill Kelly yesterday. I wasn't playing the Reds. It just kind of pulled him up.
Oh, yeah, he was another one. Yeah,
didn't have any time to fix it. So I'm watching and it was just like single, double, reached on error. I was like, what is... And then grand slam.
But by the way...
I'm out of here.
That's what I was talking about. That's another guy that still went 6 innings and gave up 7 runs. Like he gave up 6 innings in the second and still managed to go 6 innings somehow. Caleb Smith gave up 4 runs, but went 7, which is very unusual for a guy like Smith. And he struck out 9 and he got the win. So just like a lot of weird pitcher performances where like if you were to just scroll through the box scores and see the scores of the game, how many runs were scored, you'd be like, all right, well, if I had a pitcher from this game, I'm done. When it actually wasn't the case with a lot of these guys.
Alex ended up going 70% Corbin, 47% David Hess.
47 David Hess, huh?
Yeah.
What did Hess finish with?
10.9. So we got 36.8 fantasy points out of Corbin Hess.
Yeah, that's great. Hess did have 7 strikeouts. He gave up almost as many home runs as strikeouts.
Interesting. That was at $14,900. Gray Smith would have been 17.2. So, yeah, I mean, from a value perspective, that's pretty comparable. But you needed. Wait, did he really not do it? So Jose Iglesias hit that grand slam. Still a ton of hitters other than him. Needed Hosmer, 34. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, Alex faded Chris Paddock pretty aggressively. Not that it really mattered all that much. I mean, the difference Corbin outscored him by 4, an extra $600, slightly better value. But yeah, he only had a third of the field on Paddock.
What did Paddock finish with?
21.
He did get the win, and he only gave up 5 base runners.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the thing though with him. You don't get that workhorse type outing from him very often, if at all.
See who Alex had stacked up here. Most exposed stack for the boss, 196% ownership to the Cincinnati Reds. That kind of surprises me. I would not have expected that.
Why is that? Just because they were chalky?
Yeah, Stack Tool was a little look. It's not as simple as looking at the Stack Tool and being like, this team over-owned, cannot have them. Like it's the pieces fit together differently. I wouldn't have expected him to get that much over the field there. So at the very least, that sort of filled out his lineups well. I would have expected a little bit more Dodgers, but he ended up coming in slightly underweight. Almost like a little bit of a fade, of course.
Yeah.
For how little he liked Gray, I'm surprised there wasn't more Dodgers there. Under on almost every hitter except for Turner and Pollock, and that was just barely over.
That's pretty interesting.
Way flatter exposures than I would have expected out of him yesterday. After the Reds, but Angels disappointed, and you were really only getting 14 out of Calhoun, and that's it. It's kind of a weird slate.
It was 7 games, and like we talked about pitching on the deeper dive. I know obviously you guys got into it live before a lot. Almost every pitcher had a wart of some sort. You know what I mean? Like even with Paddock, doesn't pitch that deep into games. Lefties, K rate versus lefties has been modest at best. Caleb Smith against a Diamondbacks team that has been very good against lefties this year, except he's very good at home and has the highest K rate on the slate. The Braves are a very good team against lefties. Pittsburgh doesn't strike out, and it was a great American. You just go down the list, and there was something wrong with all of them.
Wow, Jaime Barria finished with 15. Didn't know that.
Yeah, I thought he'd had less. Last I had looked at Barria, he was getting. Actually, no. I think a lot of it came from the bullpen.
I actually haven't looked at my own stuff. I ended up finishing $18 to the good.
Win is a win.
Yeah, I was not happy with my DraftKings exposures. I wanted to get more Dodgers and Angels, and ultimately that worked out as a benefit. But we were scrambling pretty late. Wasn't even confident that I was going to get my stuff in. But let's see. I was double the field on Eric Hosmer, which certainly did not hurt me. The Padres were my most exposed stack, so that kind of saved the day.
Saved the day.
Whew, needed it, man. Needed it, because those Merrill Kelly shares, they don't look all that great. What did he finish with? 2.1. I had 28%.
In the positive.
Ooh. Not great. Not great at all. Rough one for Sonny Gray as well, only 9.8. That's not going to help Adam get to 10K.
No.
Alrighty. First of all, if you're here, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Coming up later today, Ben and Tim will be talking the Wyndham Championship at 2:30. We'll have the deeper dive. 4:45, Laffy, Adam, and the boss man, Alex Baker. And then live before lock tonight, Jake and Chris Randone. Alex, Spags, and Nolan actually put out a video yesterday breaking down Week 1 NFL salaries from DraftKings. So if you want to check that out, that is also up on our YouTube channel right now.
Jordan Howard's $4,200, 9-point home favorites in Week 1. Whew. I know people don't like the guy, but that's really cheap.
That's very cheap. I have not taken a look at that quite yet. I'll probably wait until
I can't wait for football to start.
The end of August.
You don't love it that much.
No, I enjoy eating on Sundays, and I mildly enjoy the sweats of watching Red Zone. But other than that, I'm good.
I love it, man.
On the other hand, in like 9 days, soccer starts, and that will have me up Saturday morning, 10 a.m.
We're not entertaining this.
It's a better experience.
Oh, stop it.
2 hours in and out, no commercials, none of that garbage. You get it in, you get done, you're done by noon.
That's a terrible take.
Easy. Nah, you're crazy. What do you know? Alrighty. MLB, go ahead.
If you're an American, you like football.
Where did we all come from?
Don't hit me with that crap.
Yeah. Those are my people. Those are my people.
Ah, it's nonsense.
If we're gonna play sports that are all made up and stuff, we need fantasy lacrosse or something. Sign me up for that.
You know what I was watching today? A YouTube video on Jared Lorenzen, the Giants quarterback that just died a month ago.
Pour one out.
Really, actually, really sad. His dad was talking about how Eli still showed up to the funeral and everything, and just like, some heartwarming shit. But they called him the hefty lefty because he was a 300-pound quarterback.
Yeah.
And then he goes to one of these arena leagues for the Kentucky Wildcats. He's got this huge gut hanging out. He's still mobile. So he's they make him the GM of the team. He can't find a quarterback. So he says, okay, I'll be the quarterback of the team. And then the next season, he's the commissioner of the league.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding.
I know.
He was playing a video game for life.
Yeah. Just a really cool story about that guy. It's sad. He was only 38 years old, couldn't get his weight in check, kidney and heart problems. Like 38 years old, Josh. This guy was a professional quarterback.
Yeah, it's craziness. It's sad, man. It's super sad. On another note, shout out to Yahoo Sports for being our presenting sponsor. I've just dropped the link into chat now for Emacs Spotlight. Actually, I think I just dropped my link in there, which is not going to help you at all. Yeah, I did.
Well, it's on the homepage. Spotlight hitters. Can't miss it. Awesomeo.com.
Apparently you can miss it because I missed it.
Oh. Well, you shouldn't miss it.
Yeah, be better than me. Where are you hiding, Spotlight hitters? I got it. All right, now I'm dropping the link into chat.
Maybe we need an article search tool on the homepage.
We have that.
Oh,
top right corner. I'm just a dummy. Ignore me. But don't ignore me on this. Check out Emacs article for instructions on how to play at Yahoo. No management fee contest, 33% payouts on some of the contests. It's where you should be starting your day each day. You can get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points if you check out the beginning of Emacs article. But stay here because Lofty and I have 14 games to talk about. So I hope you guys have been taking your bathroom breaks. I hope you got a little snack next to you, some coffee, some water, whatever you need, because we're going to be here a bit. You ready?
Let's get it underway, son.
Here we go. Yankees and Diamondbacks. 6.9 runs for the Yankees, 5 for the Diamondbacks. A 66% chance to win. J.A. Happ going for the Yanks. Taylor Clark going for the Diamondbacks. Do we have ownership yet? Oh, we do. Didn't know if we would get it yet just because of how many. There's 3 games that don't have lines right now. So
wait, do we have ownership? I updated it. I didn't see it.
We do. Ownership came out 14 minutes ago.
Oh, because to me it says 14 hours ago.
Yeah, that date is not updated. That much I'll agree with, but it did update.
I still see Chris Paddock and Sonny Gray. All right, well, weird.
Updated ownership. No, so whatever got updated didn't get updated. Tom, you probably already know this if you're already listening, but so the channel, something updated. It might be in the wrong spot. I don't know. It'll be Express Slates.
Is it under the wrong slate?
No, but we do have I think maybe just the early is up. I assume that we're hitting some snags because there's 3 games without lines. So kind of changes things, but we'll keep an eye out for it. Anyway, J.A. Happ, Taylor Clark. I have absolutely no interest in Taylor Clark. What I'm curious is, do you have any interest here in J.A. Happ? That's a big implied total for the Diamondbacks.
It is, and they're still massive dogs because I know you mentioned 6'9". I updated these odds about 20 minutes ago or maybe 5 minutes before we started. Yankees are up to 7.1.
Jeez.
2019 baseball, man. Nothing like it. No, I don't have a ton of interest here. I think on a slate with 14 games and 28 pitchers, you can probably do better than that. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm willing to exploit price tags when they're too low, but I don't think you need to go here. Here's one of the reasons. I mentioned yesterday, and this morning we talked about it, that the spot for Caleb Smith wasn't exactly pristine. I mean, the Diamondbacks have top 5 marks in WOBA, ISO, and WRC plus against lefties. They strike out at a bottom 10 clip. It's not a bad team against left-handed pitching. It's actually good. So just looking at J.A. Happ, could he go out and put up a decent game? Sure, but it's not even like the K upside with someone like Hap is really there. With Caleb Smith, he had a 31% K rate, highest on yesterday's slate. I'm a whole lot more willing to, negotiate with myself on something like that. Whereas with this one, I think there's a lot of resistance to J.A. Happ getting where he needs to go.
Yeah, this is a tricky spot. They're projecting to run out the full freight of right-handers.
Yes, yeah.
Over the past 2 seasons, J.A. Happ 190 x ISO to righties.
Yeah.
Not great.
No, home runs per 9 is like 1.9 this year against righties for J.A. Happ. It's at let's see, against righties 1.98 home runs per 9.
Yeah, I'm looking at my boy Marte, Christian Walker, Adam Jones. Even Carson Kelly has shown a little bit of pop in a limited sample.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a hard time getting to Hap here. Does that make you like the Diamondbacks at all?
What's that?
Does that make you like the Diamondbacks at all?
Yes. Yeah. I think the Diamondbacks have plenty of appeal here. I don't know about you, but I think you could see an ample amount of scoring in this game. A couple things to mention here. First of all, once again, temperatures are in the Northeast are heating up. You've got high 80s. Actually, first pitch going to be around 90 degrees. It's going to be once again favorable hitting weather. Now, Yankee Stadium, as we know, the short porch, it's better for lefties, but that doesn't mean it's horrible for righties either. And I would expect to see plenty of scoring on each side. J.A. Happ, just the inability for J.A. Happ to set down lefties or righties and prevent them from hitting power is an issue. So Marte has always hit lefties better. Escobar is a switch hitter. Christian Walker's got plenty of power. Adam Jones, Wilmer Flores against lefties, might not have been great this year and maybe last year, but for his career, he crushes left-handed pitching. This is a really tough lineup for J.A. Happ, and the Castro up top. I want the power guys, really. I think that makes more sense here, but I wouldn't at all be surprised to see the Diamondbacks score like 8 or 9 runs today.
No. Yasmani Tomas, if he's in the lineup, $7 on Yahoo. I think that's an interesting outfield play that no one will probably be on. I kind of like the Diamondbacks, but here's the biggest question in this game. Are the Yankees the top stack today, or is it someone in Coors?
Well, Kyle Freeland's on the mound.
So I like Kyle Freeland today. Spoiler alert.
You're serious?
I'm actually serious.
You like Kyle Freeland?
I like Kyle Freeland at 4,400 for specific reasons. It's not like I think that he's going to go out there. We can get into it. Vintage. Well, that game's third from the end.
No, not right now. I'm saying we'll get into it in the show. Yeah. I don't have a line on that game yet. I put the Dodgers at 7.5.
I had it at 6.2, so that could change things a little bit. I put the total. I put it at 12.
Sorry, I was wrong. My apologies.
Higher.
7.7.
Yeah, I put a 12 total on it.
You had the Dodgers at 6.2 against Freeland. You really like this guy.
Look, 12's a lot. We'll see, man. We'll see.
No,
we're starting to get some lines. The Atlanta-Washington line is out now.
The over-under is 14, by the way.
Officially?
Yes, officially 14.
Where?
Dodgers have a 7.7 run total.
Where are you seeing a line? Come
on, Josh.
I don't see a line anywhere for that game.
I want to be throwing other sites out there.
We're not a sports book.
Well, neither are they.
Oh, well, I don't give a shit about those people. All right, what am I saying?
Not like everyone doesn't know.
Okay, so yeah, all right, I've got a line now too. There are lines up in Vegas. So let me clear this stuff out on my sheet and update for that game.
But while you do, I'll talk about the
good work.
about the what?
Good work. You talk Yankees while I do this.
Yeah. So the Yankees have a 7.1 run total at Yankee Stadium. You got 90-degree temperatures. There really isn't a lot not to like about this team. And I would be really surprised to see them completely disappoint today. Now, crazier things have happened. I mean, we just saw John Gray, who is a good pitcher, don't get me wrong, but just go out and shut down a extremely potent Dodgers team at Coors Field with hot temperatures. You even had some heavy winds blowing out to center field at Coors. But Taylor Clark going into Yankee Stadium, this is a spot where if he were wise, he would call out sick. Or he'd step in front of a taxi or something. A slow moving taxi, of course, but just enough to put him down for the week. I don't think this is a spot where he makes it out alive. I really don't. I don't know how many pitches he's going to throw, but all in all, the Yankees bats, no matter what lineup they run out there, it's just hard to see any type of way that he can escape this one unscathed. I don't see it happening, and these batters are not that expensive. Some of them, sure. But like Voit 47, Aaron Judge on DraftKings is 4,800, Torres 46. So with Didi, you're paying for him. You're paying for these guys, but it's not Coors Field prices.
No. They're my number one team today. I don't really know
Yeah,
how to do anything else. And that includes the Coors game, which I guess I don't know that that's still official. I did bump that up to
there's 14 over-unders will get you, Josh.
They will. That's 2 additional runs compared to where I had it before.
Yeah.
I'm still going to like Freeland at 4,400, but I like it less. Let's put it that way. I think he's well set up for that matchup. We'll talk about it.
Okay.
So I'm just pasting lineups and stuff back in now, but I've got all those lines updated. It's helpful. No, I think this looks like a really nice game to target for offense. Obviously, the Yankees are just loaded with talent, but J.A. Happ uniquely set up to give up some power to right-handers. If that lineup, I mean, basically everything that they can do to that lineup, like any change they make is probably worse. So it can probably only get better for Happ, but I don't know. I doubt that it happens. I don't get the sense that they're going to just plop in like 4 lefties now against the lefty. Would be weird.
Well, you're talking about Arizona?
Yeah.
Well, the reason they don't need to is because 2 of their best hitters are switch hitters.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess the only question would be, is Jared Dyson in the lineup? Because Peralta was this. So he entered the game yesterday as a pinch hitter and then was hit by a pitch on the foot. He stayed in the game, hopes to be able to play Tuesday. So I guess you could see Peralta in the lineup, but I doubt you get Dyson and Peralta in the lineup. That wouldn't make sense. So my thinking is maybe 1, maybe 2 lefties, but probably just 1 pure left-handed hitter and then a bunch of switch hitters and righties.
Yep. We're on the same page here. I like this game a lot. I hope the Diamondbacks come in unowned.
Yeah.
It wouldn't shock me.
That's a good question. I don't know where they're going to come in at on a 14-game slate, but I mean, the power upside is as high as anyone tonight. I really do believe that with J.A. Happ struggles against righty power.
I agree. Favorite bat in this game?
There's so many. There really are. I really like Ketel Marte. I really like Didi. I like Gary Sanchez. Honestly, man, it's a really hard answer to give here. Encarnacion. I like this entire game. I really like this. Might be my favorite overall game for hitting purposes.
I don't think I disagree. It's a really, really, really good spot for basically everybody in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Judge with a heroic pick on my end.
Okay.
And I just realized that I never put the timestamp in to start. So we'll just we'll lop a couple minutes off of that and call it a day. You ready to move on?
Let's do it.
We're off to your boys. The Phillies hosting the Giants. Unfortunately, you're not getting newly minted Phillies starter Jason Vargas.
Instead we're getting newly minted Drew Smiley.
Man, they are accumulating some garbage, huh?
They sure are.
All right, give me the 30-second cliff notes on your thoughts on the Jason Vargas trade.
Well, I've been calling for significant regression all season long.
Yeah,
I've been wrong. Hold on. I've been wrong. So naturally, the regression will set in heavily upon his first start for the Philadelphia Phillies. It only makes sense. So look, if Jason Vargas actually were to come out and pitch as he's pitched recently in New York, they basically got him for free. It wouldn't be a big signing or a bad signing at all. But to assume that he's going to do that is very difficult for me, especially because I'm baffled that he's done this all season long.
perfect.
Did you know he was an all-star in 2017?
No, but John Means was an all-star this year, so every asshole gets it from time to time.
Yeah, I guess so, but pretty surprising.
Yeah.
John Means has been pretty damn good though, man.
I mean, I assume that just the rest of the team was bad that year, right?
That was the Royals.
Safe bet then.
I thought they might have had a few.
Nope. Okay. Drew Smiley going here for the Phillies. Tyler Beatty going for the Giants. Phillies 55% chance to win. Drew Smiley for $6K on DK. Drew Smiley for $28 on Yahoo. Is that so crazy against the Giants?
I don't know if it's insane. His first start with the Phillies against a low strikeout Pittsburgh. Well, Pittsburgh much worse against lefties, to be fair. Last I looked, Pittsburgh had the lowest WRC plus in the league against lefties. Maybe that's changed. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. Let's see. Pittsburgh has a 76 WRC plus against lefties. So I don't want to read too much into that, Josh. But San Francisco, not far behind. They have an 84 WRC plus, third lowest in the league, sub 300 weighted on base average. You're not at Oracle Park, so that's nice for them. But the Giants are in the top half of the league in strikeouts against lefties. Drew Smiley's just not good. So what do you get from him? The one thing that is worth pointing out, and I think this is what it comes down to if you are willing to consider him, Drew Smiley's striking out more than a batter per inning this season. He's allowing, an incredible amount of runs, but he's got numbers that are decent enough not to be terrible. Now, here's the problem. The whole Ks per nine thing is misleading because he's got a 21.9% strikeout rate.
Yeah.
And less than 20 batters faced per game, which just shows you that he has been really bad at staying in games. But hey, if he could go out there and strike out 6, which I don't think is completely, out of the question, then I guess it's okay. This this Giants team really bad against lefties this year. When you look at guys like Posey and you look at a lot of them that at one time were good against lefties are just really bad against them now. And Longoria's on the injured list.
All right, we have a lot to talk about, a lot to break down here. Drew Smiley, 24% expected ownership on Yahoo, 25 on DraftKings.
The minimum. Okay. I thought you were saying he's $25 on Yahoo.
He's 28, so close enough. Not only is that interesting, but the Giants have the third most ownership on both FanDuel and DraftKings.
Whew. Really? Wow. That is shocking.
Yeah. Not all that much ownership going to Philly there in the middle of the pack. There's absolutely no way I want 25% on Drew Smiley on a 14-game slate.
No, certainly not. I think both of us assumed that he wouldn't be close to that before looking at ownership.
I'm not I don't mind it. He does grade out as the best arm in that area. That just feels really high. But he and, spoiler alert, Joe Musgrove making up 50% of the ownership at the bottom of. Those are the two pay down options right now.
I say it every 5 days. It's always Musgrove.
It is always Musgrove.
Right? Musgrove always gets that ownership. It's pretty insane, man. And now he's down to 5,100. So yeah. Like with Smiley and the Giants, it's one of these weird situations where, like you said, a lot of people are going to be on Smiley because he's cheap and his strikeouts are at least average. And a lot of people are going to be on the Giants because they're cheap and Drew Smiley's not good.
Yeah. I would have liked to take one of those sides, but if everybody's already there, I think I'll just rather be nowhere.
There's no leverage on either of them, really.
Right.
You hope that Smiley goes like 5 innings, 3 runs, no homers, something like that. The one thing though that is always important to mention, this Phillies bullpen has been atrocious ever since suffering like myriad injuries. So if there's one thing here that's pretty big is that Smiley doesn't go deep into games and the Phillies bullpen is really bad. So, there is reason to think that for 9 innings, you're getting pretty good matchups if you're the Giants.
Yeah. I do want to circle back 1 second. No ownership going to Happ or Clark. Yankees are 8th on FanDuel, 10th on DraftKings. They are now my number 2 stack. Very excited there. Diamondbacks on DraftKings, completely unowned. 22nd ranked in ownership. Highest guy is Kettle Marte at $2. They are 14th on FanDuel. I think that we have very, very clearly hit on a stack that is probably a little undervalued today.
No question. Love Ketel Marte.
Yeah. I'm going to be getting to some Diamondbacks there. Hopefully that ownership stays down. So I would advocate for a mild fade of the Giants here. At that 17% ownership to Tyler Austin, 13 to Posey, 10 to Zach Green.
I mean, these are bad hitters.
These are cash plays. Zach Green's 3,100 on DraftKings.
Yeah. There's nothing that's inspiring about anything here. I mean, they're just not good. It's strictly an ownership thing. What do you think Buster Posey's WRC plus is against lefties this year?
Dude, it could be 180 or 60, and I would have no idea.
Okay, it's 62.
Like I said, almost
not
60.
bad. You gave yourself an out, but at least you were on the low end of that one.
I truly had no idea. You were either giving me a very extreme high number or a low number.
Right.
You weren't going to be like, 110.
Right. Josh, 62.
That's bad. Real bad.
He doesn't have a single home run across 86 plate appearances, which is incredible because he doesn't strike out. 8% strikeouts, 2% walks. Like, there's just Buster Posey is nothing close to what he once was. He used to crush left-handed pitching.
He was great.
Yeah. But it's not there anymore. I mean, Sandoval, look, the one advantage here is that Citizens Bank Park is really one of the most homer-friendly parks in the entire league.
Yes.
So this is one of the best park shifts you can get if you're the Giants. That's the one benefit here. If you're talking about getting Giants exposure, you could sway me there. But if we're talking just in terms of talent, when they're that high owned, these are not very talented guys.
No, this is a pretty easy avoid for me. Although I'm happy to pick off a couple pieces of these guys in cash games. This is not a GPP stack for me.
Now, what's interesting though is the Phillies you mentioned getting like no ownership there.
They rank 6th on DraftKings, 12th on FanDuel.
12th on FanDuel. Okay, yeah, I was going to say that's surprising. They do have a 5.3 total, and the thing is Tyler Beatty's actually decent at getting strikeouts against righties. That's been one of his strong suits this year. But he is also one of the big things is while the bats definitely have the advantage, Tyler Beatty, this is a huge disadvantage coming from the Oracle to Citizens Bank Park, because home runs have already been a pretty significant issue for him this year. Even against righties, he's allowing 1.75 home runs per 9, 1.55 to lefties. I do like Bryce Harper a lot here. I think this is a really favorable spot for Bryce Harper, and you're not overpaying for him. Like, I have no problem if Kingery's leading off.
Yeah.
And Real Muto seems to be waking up a little bit. I wish Bruce was in the lineup just for that additional lefty power. But, if Caesar's batting 6th again at 3,600, you could make an argument there. We'll see. But I don't think it's crazy at all. And it's possible, by the way, that actually, I guess because Brad Miller's on the IL, I guess we'll have to see if Segura's out, who's going to fill in for him.
Yeah, I have him in right now, but we'll see.
He took a Real Muto throw to second straight off the shin, not on the bounce. Oh yeah. On the same play that Ronald Acuna went in and just twisted his whole neck back on Segura's other leg.
Not a great day for him. Probably want to sit this one out. I don't have anything else to talk about here. I like Hoskins, but it's not hard to find a first baseman. I like Real Muto.
Harper's my favorite play from the game, if that helps.
It's hard to disagree there. As for the Giants, it's not my spot. Not in the tournament.
I got no issues there.
Here we go. If I could capitalize the damn N in Nationals. There we go. Nats and Braves, 5.3 run implied total for the Nats, 5.2 for the Braves, 51% chance to win for Washington. Eric Fede going for the Nats. There we go. Julio Teheran going for Atlanta. No ownership going to either guy. I can't imagine that you're interested in either one of them, but let me know if you are.
Zero interest. I was, however, actually surprised that the totals in this game weren't higher. Before that came out, I thought you'd have the Nats at like 5.8 and the Braves at 5.6 or something. I think it's 5.4 and 5.2. But no, no Eric Fede, no Julio Teheran. I think this is a pretty easy spot to ignore for pitching purposes.
Well, it's not getting ignored for hitting. Nats are 6th on FanDuel, tied for 4th on DraftKings. Braves are 2nd on FanDuel, tied for 4th on DraftKings. Those aggregate numbers aren't very high. Like the highest total ownership for anybody on DK is just 8.6%. So we've got a lot of teams packed in the same sort of area. That'll probably separate as we get closer. But do you have a preference between these two teams? Who do you want to stack up more?
So I think the Braves are probably the team that I'm looking to get to more. One of the reasons here is Eric Fede just incredibly bad at missing any bats. I mean, this guy's K rate, I didn't know it could get this bad for a major league pitcher. I mean, it is dreadful. He has a 7% swinging strike rate. He's racked up, you ready for this? 12% strikeouts on the season. It's been ugly. It's been really ugly for him. And home runs have been an issue as well, particularly against lefties. The Braves are just too good of a baseball team to ignore against someone like Fede that's not going to miss any bats. You know, when you've got Ronald Acuna and Freddie Freeman and hell, even Ozzie Albies, who has been very good, and Donaldson putting the ball in play in temperatures that are going to be upwards of 90 degrees, 92 degrees. It's really hard for me to ignore a Braves team like this.
I don't disagree. I prefer the Braves to the Nats in this spot. Not that I don't like some of the Nats bats, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
But Fede, 211 x ISO to right-handers. Hard to not like Acuna. Hard to not like Josh Donaldson. Adam Duvall. You guys have pop, man. Park is better for righties than it is for lefties. Not exactly going to help out Fede. The ownership isn't as high as it seems on Atlanta, so I would not be upset being over the field. They're just, to get to Freeman and Acuna, you got to pay up for it.
Right. Those two guys are pretty expensive. Donaldson and Albies. Donaldson's not cheap. Albies is, pretty normal. But Eric Fede is just not good. And when you have 12% strikeouts, you get 7% swinging strikes. That is not gonna suit you well in these type of temperatures. The big thing you look at is, well, what's his ground ball rate look like? Fede does get a lot of ground balls, which is really the only reason he continues to start. But I'm just not convinced. He's got an xFIP above 5, and I would expect things to get pretty ugly for him going forward.
Same. Favorite Nats bats right now up against Teheran?
Juan Soto for sure.
Guy's got a little bit of pop.
Tiny bit. He's 4,300 on DraftKings, dude.
It's so silly. I mean, Matt Adams at 4K I think is pretty silly for a first baseman.
Yep. I like both of them. It's funny, if I'm not talking about a full stack, my favorite bats are probably from the Washington team. Like Juan Soto and Adams are probably my two favorite bats, obviously with price factored into it.
Yeah.
Is Matt Adams, I guess we'll see if he's in the lineup. He had that CT scan.
Do you know if
But
Tehran's good at holding runners?
what?
Do you know if Tehran is good at holding runners?
I can tell you right now. Well, wait, no. Julio Turin?
Yeah.
Terrible. At least for the large majority of his career. Sorry, I wasn't listening. Julio Turin's been terrible at holding runners for his career. But keep in mind, having McCann or Flowers behind the plate could definitely make a difference here. So
Sure.
we'll see. But Julio Turin, let's see, 26 stolen base, 19. He's been average this year. Because I remember last year he improved a little bit. But yeah, just like the metrics will tell you that Turin's pretty bad at holding runners. I'd say he's gotten a little bit better, and we've seen that with a lot of pitchers over the past few years, like Lester and Hamels. It's kind of weird, but I don't think there would be any concern about running on Turin. Like no one's going to hesitate to take off on Julio Turin.
Right. Okay. Then I like Trey Turner quite a bit as well, but I like the Nats pieces a little bit more than I like their full stack.
That's what I said a second ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Soto, and if Adams is in the lineup. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else here?
I mean, I don't know if Gomes is in the lineup. He's dirt cheap again, but that's just a punt play at the position.
Right. Alrighty, we'll keep it moving. Red Sox. Oh, I forgot we're on the slate until I saw it. Hosting the Rays, 4.8 run implied total for the Sox, 4.2 for the Rays, 56% chance to win for Boston. David Price going for the Red Sox, Charlie Morton going for the Rays. No ownership at all going to Morton right now. Price, 11% on Yahoo, 5 on FanDuel, 12 on DraftKings, where he is 9K. You looking to take David Price against Tampa here?
Well, I guess it depends on what other pitchers we're looking at and where they stack up against someone like David Price. So if you're talking about ownership, David Price right now is getting around 12% ownership on DraftKings. I mean, I think that probably is reasonable. 9K I'm okay with. I don't think it's a great price, but right now you have only six pitchers with higher projected ownership than him. Where's he at on FanDuel? Price
5%.
5%.
Yep, 8,900.
Yeah, and then David Price on Yahoo is $44 at 11%. The Rays were one of those teams actually just a couple months ago that led the league in strikeouts against lefties.
I think they're sixth right now.
Yeah, I was going to say they're sixth at 24.9%. with a 91 WRC plus. So their struggles against lefties still continue.
Yeah.
They're bottom 10 in WRC plus, and their 305 WOBA, I believe, is also in the bottom 10 of the league. Yeah, actually bottom 6. So it's not a crazy spot to consider David Price. I think he's been unheralded this year in terms of his success. He's been very good. He's getting strikeouts. He'll have a tough start from time to time, but you could get your 8 or 9 Ks from Price here and certainly go on to get the win. But really, really, you want to talk about a guy that has Charlie Morton been the best pitcher in baseball?
Maybe.
I mean, there's Garrett Cole. I get that. And there's Verlander, but Charlie Morton's been insanely good.
Yeah. 5th in wins above replacement right now. Not that has any real tie. I mean, Scherzer is running away with the field, but that might slow down a little bit now. Morton's been fantastic.
I'll put it this way. If Morton won the Cy Young this year, I would not dispute that for even a moment. That's how good this guy's been. Just everything about the way he's pitched has been fantastic against lefties and righties. No significant splits here to worry about. God, he's been really, really, really good. And I'm not going to him against Boston, obviously, but the guy's got a 31% K rate. And everything he's done has been brilliant. He's not allowing power. He's not walking batters. He has a 3.2 xFIP. So again, not going to him against Boston, but I have no interest in Boston bats either. I think he's been that good.
Morton currently in Tom Tango's Cy Young points projector is third in the AL behind, and this is barely third in the AL behind Cole and Verlander. Ryu.
Those are the two guys I just mentioned. So
Right.
yeah, it's not a crazy take on my part.
No, they're separated by like 2 points too. Ryu, pretty firmly in front in the NL. Scherzer, closest guy behind him, and he's probably going to miss at least one start, if not more.
Yeah,
So.
I think Ryu makes sense if you're talking about Cy Young. But again, yeah, Verlander and Garrett Cole. I think I'd probably put Morton ahead of Verlander.
Yeah, they are not separated by much here. Verlander's thrown 13 more innings. Should stay similar today. They both throw again today.
He's also allowed 28 home runs, but it doesn't matter if if your one home run allowed is
and that's
the
it.
only run per game.
Yeah, those are the only runs he's given up.
Right.
Look, I like Price a bit here, but I'm not going to go crazy for it. He looks okay at 9K. Like, that's the best that I can say.
I feel the same way.
The ownership looks like it should.
It's a good matchup, but it doesn't feel like a good matchup.
Right. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like Tampa is the spot the hill you want to die on. You know, it's tough.
I would have expected their lefty numbers to be better based on who they have.
Oh, totally agree.
Neither team getting any ownership in the 20th in rankings. Tommy Pham getting a little bit of love along with Zunino on DK, but that is it. Are you looking to stack up either side here? I don't really have much interest in bats.
No, not at all. Like if I were to go anywhere, maybe you could make an argument for a couple righties for Tampa.
Yeah.
But that would really just be like if you're pulling teeth, you know, you're forcing me to go somewhere. I don't think either side of this has me all that excited. Plus, David Price has been good, you know, against right-handers for a lefty. And this is like I said, it's not a game that I have much interest in. If I'm going anywhere, it's David Price. But I think we've made it clear that it's really not a great spot.
No, not really. The pitching is better than what I need here. There are way better spots for offense, so I'm good here.
For sure.
Alrighty. To yesterday's chalk, the Cincinnati Reds taking on the Pirates. Reds, 5-run implied total, Pirates 4.5. 54% chance to win for Cincinnati. Tanner Roark going for the Reds. Joe Musgrove going for the Pirates. Roark, 13% ownership on Yahoo at $35. Not really getting any love anywhere else. Musgrove, 0 ownership on Yahoo at $45. 0 ownership on FanDuel at $7,900. 26% ownership, $5,100. He is the premier-ish paydown option. He and Smiley making up all of that exposure. What would you like to do with Joe Musgrove against the Reds today?
Man, why do I have to make this decision every 5 days?
This is really brutal.
Every 5 days, man. Look, he's cheap.
That's true.
I don't really want to even say any more than that. He's cheap, and I'll give you one more here. The more righties, the better. If there's more righties in this lineup, the better it is. There's probably going to be 4 or 5 lefties.
I've got 3 righties plus the pitcher right now. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong damn team because I'm stupid. I've got 4 lefties in right now.
Right, exactly. Suarez, Puig, Iglesias, Gray, or it's not Gray. Who's pitching?
Roark,
and then I guess we'll have to see who's catching.
Right. They have Barnhart in right now.
Right, and he's your another lefty. It might be Lavarnway though.
Wouldn't shock me. I understand the ownership, but oh man, is that too high? Is 26% too much?
On a 14-game slate, it certainly feels like it's pretty high.
It really does. I mean, I understand why he's getting ownership. I think it's telling that the Reds only have a 5-run implied total right now. In this park in July,
Yeah, yesterday it went over 6 once
Right.
McRae was announced.
So, I mean, I figure I have in the 20s of Musgrove. I can't really get away from it, I don't think.
No, look, the reason is that Musgrove, unlike a lot of other pitchers in this price range that you see from day to day, can actually go out there and give you 25 fantasy points and a good start or
Right.
more. And and that's what makes him an interesting pitcher. I mean, hell, think about it. Tanner Roark in the same game, just I'll use DraftKings pricing is 8,300.
Yeah.
It's absurd.
I have them separated by 0.6 of a point, so
Right.
kind of a
Let me
gap.
say, let me state, by the way, that, well, actually, here, set me up. What type of ownership are we looking at on Pirate Stacks?
They are 26th on DraftKings,
Mm,
completely unowned. 17th
mm.
on FanDuel, completely unowned.
Well, that is interesting, especially if Dickerson is back in the lineup and you have that 5 lefty in the top 6 lineup that we've seen for the Pirates. Hell, they've certainly disappointed me at times. There's no denying that. But we cannot overlook how bad Tanner Roark has been against lefties, right?
No, no,
We
we
cannot
cannot.
we cannot ignore that. I mean, uh, he's been really bad. Almost 2 home runs per 9, which obviously something I will look at significantly. When lined up with the 223 ISO, um, it's bad. And I think you and I have talked about this a lot. But Tanner Roark's X ISO and X WOBA are almost directly in line with his actual WOBA and actual ISO against lefties. 401 WOBA, 396 X WOBA, 223 ISO, 227 X ISO, and an 8.49% swinging strike rate. Josh, he's been very bad against lefties this season. I'm actually surprised he hasn't been worse.
Yeah, I actually wrote down left-handed hitters versus Roark for when I have to make my home run picks for later today.
I like that.
Yeah.
Josh Bell,
Or Dickerson.
or if he's in the lineup, yeah.
Possible. I've written down a couple things so far, so a lot of potential power to be found in these first couple of games that we've talked about.
I mean, I'm fine. Honestly, if they want to run the same lineup that we've seen against righties when Dickerson's healthy, I'm fine with Brian Reynolds. I'm fine with Colin Moran. Fine with Josh Bell. Fine with Dickerson. I just think that this could get ugly for Roark, especially, you go out there and the first 5 of the first 6 batters you face are lefties. Yeah, he might unravel quickly. And if he does, I'd like to be there for it.
Yeah, I'd like to make sure I have a couple full stacks of the Pirates just because of the ballpark and Roark. They don't grade out all that well for me. They rank 17th, but if they're 26th in ownership, then that's a pretty sizable gap between where I want them and where they are. So you can get the 5% across the board and feel great.
Even bad teams can have good days,
Yeah, look at the Marlins yesterday.
Right.
Any Reds bats against Musgrove?
Sure. I mean, if Musgrove's going to be one of the chalkiest pitchers on the slate, then it's not crazy at all. We've seen countless times Musgrove get blown up. So, no, I think it's entirely reasonable that the Cincinnati Reds are in play here. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Puig, 4,300, only 6% ownership. I think that's pretty appealing. Van Meter, Jeanette, and Iglesias, all $8 or $9 on Yahoo. Just to point that $8 Van Meter price in particular needs to be spoken about. It's not like I want to have a lot of Reds, but I see the appeal. Like, I don't think that they're a particularly interesting team today, other than the fact that Musgrove is getting love on DraftKings. I don't really need them anywhere else.
Yeah, and it also doesn't hurt that that it's a great American ballpark.
Yeah.
It's funny though because it's very humid there, but only 79 degrees. But it's still a really good park. I mean, if you're high 70s, low 80s, you're in pretty good shape if you're a hitter there.
Yep, no doubt about that. Do you have a favorite bat in this game?
Josh Bell, or if Dickerson plays, Dickerson.
Yeah.
What about you?
Yeah, it's probably Bell for me.
It feels like one of those games where Bell could homer on each of his first 2 plate appearances.
It really does. Ooh, I burped in the mic. I feel like I'm you.
Don't insult me. I would never.
Indians and Astros. 4-run implied total for the Indians, 4.5 for the Stros, 56% chance to win for Houston. Shane Bieber going for Cleveland, Justin Verlander going for the Astros. Why would anyone want any of these two scrubs? Here's the deal. Bieber, unowned across all three sites. $53 on Yahoo, 10.4 on FanDuel, 10.6 on DK. Verlander, 14% on Yahoo, 6% on FanDuel, 19% on DraftKings. I mean, we should start with Verlander since he's the most expensive pitcher on all three sites. I understand why he is. I don't find it to be all that appealing today.
No, neither do I. You know, as we talk about Musgrove, right? Always getting ownership. Verlander always gets ownership as well. At least on what? DraftKings, he's 19% right now.
Yeah.
Do you think that's too high or too low?
I mean, I think it's about right. I'm actually a little surprised it's not a little bit lower. It's interesting. He
never is though on him.
I know. His power issues are against righties for whatever you think his power issues are. They're not like issues, but he's going to give it up. He's been giving it up to righties over the past 2 seasons. Strikeout rate, though, 37.5% over the last 2 years against lefties. And right now, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They've got 7 of 9 spots looking to be left-handers. So the strikeout potential is certainly there. Mm-hmm. Is this better than it seems? I really don't. I don't know what to make of it.
Well, with Verlander and Garrett Cole, it honestly doesn't even matter who they're facing.
That's true.
Anymore. Like it really doesn't. So I actually think the ownership is a little bit too low on him. Initially, I was like, oh, he's got ownership again. But, you know, he last start against Oakland, a team that very seldom strikes out at a high clip, 11 Ks. Rangers, 12 Ks. Rangers, 7. Angels, 6. That's a tough spot, obviously. But, you know, the thing I love about Verlander is maybe Lindor homers off of him. You know, maybe even Carlos Santana homers off of him as well. And he still has 10 strikeouts and only allows 2 runs across 7 innings. So I have zero problem with Verlander here. On the other side, I was pretty amazed last week that Bieber was getting like half the ownership of Noah Syndergaard. Yeah. Even though Noah Syndergaard has proven time in and time out that he's a far lower upside pitcher than Shane Bieber. Now, wait till we get to Syndergaard today, because Syndergaard is uber chalk. But it's a little bit different because Bieber's got Houston, whereas last game he had a very, very, very exploitable matchup with the Toronto Blue Jays. Just very surprised by that it seems like Bieber doesn't get the same type of love as these other guys get, even though he's a better pitcher than Syndergaard. And I don't even think it's close at this point. So I like Verlander a lot. As far as Bieber goes, though, it is an ugly matchup, man. It is. And home runs have plagued him at times. Probably at this price point, I'm just going to go Verlander at a slight increase. As much as I love Bieber, this matchup is very, very scary.
Yeah, it is. He's had some major trouble against lefty power. In a way, the Astros have less of that, but
they do.
I mean, Yordan Alvarez has to be one of the odds-on favorites to hit a home run today.
I would not be even remotely surprised. And let's not ignore the fact that their righties are premier righties too.
Right. Springer, Altuve, Bregman, Correa, not exactly chopped liver.
No.
Sorry to all the people that actually do like chopped liver. It's supposed to be a negative.
It is, but I don't think it'll slow him down.
No. I put chopped chicken livers in my bolognese. Good stuff.
In your what?
My bolognese.
I don't know what that is.
Like a meat sauce.
Ah. So it's like, wait, did you say bolognese?
Bolognese.
Huh. Like mayonnaise.
Sure. Anyway,
but not.
Chicken livers.
Sounds gross,
sneaky ingredient. Man. Yeah, you never know they're in there.
Was it good?
Fantastic.
What's the recipe?
I don't know. Go to Serious Eats and Google it. Search Serious Eats bolognese.
How the shit do you expect me to spell that?
It's Google, man. They fix your mistakes.
Okay. All right.
Good source of iron. Shout out Cantor33. Got to get your iron.
Carry on.
I don't get the sense that I'm going to get to Bieber. He's just too expensive for this spot. I'm surprised he's not priced down.
That's what I'm saying. If he was cheaper, I'd be at least willing to consider it. But you're not really getting a big discount. I can't wait till we get to this Mets game. I really want to know what your opinion on that one is. I know we're a few games away, but
you know where it's coming in.
But Syndergaard is going to be popular again, and it's not to say that I blame anybody for doing that at all, but Syndergaard just seems like he is overpriced every 5 days based on what he gives us, and we'll talk about it. But that's one of the reasons a lot of these other higher priced guys aren't going to get ownership. But to be fair, Morton, tough matchup, great pitcher. Bieber, tough matchup, great pitcher. Verlander really isn't the greatest matchup, but he's just been so unbelievably consistent and can go out there and rack up 10Ks against anyone. And he's really not that much higher priced than the guys that I just mentioned. So that's pretty much what I have on that.
Any bats at all in this game for you?
You mentioned Alvarez. I actually think that that's a pretty sneaky play, but when you're talking about paying up to be contrarian, you're really being contrarian because you're not getting the discount against Shane Bieber.
No, not at all. No ownership going to anybody in this game. That should come as no surprise. These are two of the premier arms. If you're going to one-off anybody, I think Brantley and Alvarez are the two guys you would look at. Maybe Josh Reddick, 3,300. I think that's mildly appealing if you're like really trying to get weird. But this is a pitcher's game. We should not expect offense here.
Nope.
That's all I've got here.
It's pretty amazing, though, that Alvarez is averaging a extra base hit per every 5.5 at bats.
Yeah, it's just under one a game, probably.
Pretty decent, right?
Yeah.
He's played 35 games. He got 23 extra base hits. But
can't beat that whatsoever. Do me a favor, everybody. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. We're at the hour mark. Buckle up.
We're doing all right.
Yeah, no complaints. We had a lot. I mean, we had like 8 5-run implied total games to start for teams. So we had a lot to touch on.
These games we've talked about, almost all of them so far have been really interesting games. Outside of maybe Boston, Tampa, and Houston, Cleveland, a lot of really good games so far for one reason or another.
Now we can talk about uninteresting games. The Miami Marlins taking on the Minnesota Jakes. 3.6 run implied total for the Marlins. God, this team sucks. Although I feel like they go off every night. I don't understand it. 4.4 runs for the Twins. 59% chance to win for Minnesota. Zach Gallen going for the Marlins. 18% ownership on Yahoo right now at $34. Just 7 on DK. Jake Odorizzi going for the Twins. 25% ownership on Yahoo. 16% on FanDuel where he's 7,300. He is 9,400 on DraftKings. 8% ownership. I assume we need to talk about Odorizzi in terms of Yahoo and FanDuel. 9,400 feels like a bit of a stretch today. Not that I'd have a problem getting there, but 7,300 on FanDuel is a price tag that seems incorrect. How do you feel about Odorizzi?
Yeah. So with Odorizzi, I don't ever know when he's priced right or wrong because the guy's been all over the map. But I'd say he's been better than he's been bad this season.
Yeah.
Recently, though, it's been a tough go for Jake Odorizzi. Now he's had some difficult matchups. I'll give him that, but he's had 3 or fewer strikeouts now in 4 of his last 6 starts. Josh,
not good.
No, 2-7, 2-2-3-7, but that 7-run or strikeout game he gave up 9 runs. So wipe that off the map as well. I mean, I feel like regardless of what we've seen from Odorizzi lately, Miami can remedy all of your troubles. Marlins Park is a top pitcher park for sure. It's actually bottom 3 in right-handed power, according to Fangraphs. And Odorizzi's struggles have always been against righty power. He's been a reverse splits guy, a little bit less this year, but still is. I think Jake Odorizzi, it's crazy as it sounds, but there you go, bourbon into the mic.
Even at 10 minutes for you to do it.
Yeah. I think the reason for this that stands out to me the most, and I'd like to know what your thoughts are. Yes, he's 9,400. Fine. But he's 8% projected ownership on DraftKings.
Yeah.
Like that to me still seems too low for a pitcher that's going up against the Miami Marlins. They are a god awful team, and they have nothing. There's just nothing here that scares me. 7,300 on FanDuel. We don't need to get into that, but like you said, it's too cheap. What are your thoughts though at 94 on DraftKings, being that he's in single digit ownership against the worst team in baseball? Well, arguably, along with the Tigers.
I think I would rather have David Price, similar ownership. I think I would rather have Yu Darvish, similar price, similar ownership. I'm probably more down on Odorizzi on a day-to-day basis than most anyway. So that does
I'm not high on
cloud
the
it.
guy most days either. Just to point that out.
But like you said, the park and the fact that it's the Marlins certainly makes this a little bit more appealing. Although they're going to run out 8 righties. Not that any of them are any good, but that is sort of his problem. It's tricky. It seems like a bunch of negatives, but ultimately it's an incredible pitcher's park against the worst offense in baseball.
Right. And when I say like, oh, he's had problems against righties, he's still only allowing a 149 ISO, a 258 WOBA, and a 1.06 home runs per 9 to righties this year. He's got a .98 whip against right-handed hitters. Now, if you want to look at his BABIP and his strand rate and his xFIP, Odorizzi's been better than he should be. You could very much make an argument that he's been lucky. But
224 X ISO this season against
Yep.
righties, a 340 X WOBA,
you know what his BABIP is against righties?
204.
Yeah, well, I have 201, but same thing.
Yeah. This can go either direction. At 7,300 on FanDuel, it doesn't matter at that point. You're taking the discount to pay for the risk. 9,400 on DraftKings. I'd be very surprised if that's the thing that beats me today.
If who beats you? I'm sorry.
I'd be very surprised if 9,400 and Jake Odorizzi is the thing that beats me today.
Oh, I mean, I'm not saying he's got to be in your lineups. I just think whenever you're facing, whenever you're facing a team this bad, and you're coming in at single digit ownership, I just think it would be. I don't believe you can overlook the ceiling here. That's all I'm saying. Like Odorizzi could give you. He really could go 7 scoreless with 10 strikeouts in this start, and I wouldn't be surprised by it at all.
That's true.
So while I think he's a little bit overpriced, and I agree with that, I'm also not oblivious to the fact that the Marlins are as bad as they are. This park is phenomenal, and Odorizzi 24% K rate against righties. Not horrible, not great, not terrible, but definitely enough to get him where he needs to go. I'm not opposed to it. I don't think as much as you are, but I can understand why people wouldn't want to go there too.
Any bats in this game for you, either side? Nobody's getting any ownership.
I guess I have a little bit more interest in Miami or in Minnesota.
I like Kepler, Polanco, Rosario.
Yeah, I mean Gallen I think has been pretty lucky. He has a 5.76 xFIP against righties, and he has yet to allow a home run. But if you actually dig into the numbers, there are some concerning aspects here. 27% ground balls, 5.76 xFIP. His whip is 1.57. He's walking them 15% of the time. There are some legitimate concerns here. I think you're going to start seeing some power strokes come against him. And if there was ever a team to do it, it would be the Minnesota Twins. So there is that. I mean, the Minnesota Twins ISO against righties this season. And by the way, I know the park's not great, but it's a 241. Just to give you an idea of how good they've been, Josh, they lead the league with a 241 ISO. The Dodgers are second at 219.
That's so much power.
So much power. So I actually think I'm assuming Minnesota will be negligibly owned today.
Nope, no ownership across the board.
It's not the craziest idea to think that they could go out there and rock a young rookie pitcher that's had quite a bit of luck go his way against righties so far.
Yeah, I would like to get to more Twins if Gallen was getting more ownership. I'll definitely want a couple shares. Kepler, Polanco, Rosario. I'll always take Sano. Buxton's only 4K. Marwin Gonzalez looks okay at 3,400 dual eligibility. I can get there. It won't be a lot of volume, but I assume I'll be over the field.
Right. I get that. And that's where, you're not going to go load up on him.
No. Anything else for this spot?
I think that's it.
Okay. Rangers and Mariners. 5.7 run implied total for Texas. 5.3 for the Mariners. The 55% chance to win for the Rangers. Ariel Jurado going for the Rangers. Mike Leake going for the Mariners. Neither guy getting any ownership. And in my opinion, neither guy should. Are you rostering any one of these starters?
I am not.
Good.
I am not. What are the temperatures at Globe Life today? 99? That's nice.
I only look at temperatures in the Kelvin scale. Can you translate that for me, please?
I can, actually.
Because you have Google?
Well, I could, but why spend the time?
Fahrenheit to Kelvin. It is 310 Kelvin today. Whew, it's a warm one.
Ooh, it just makes it sound way worse.
It does. It makes it sound so hot. We should give all temperatures in Kelvin from now on. Make it seem like everything's really aggressive.
It sounds like a really wise business decision.
Yeah. I remember when I had showed up to some whatever science class they would talk about temperature, chemistry maybe. I don't know. I showed up for the first time in like 4 weeks in college, and they were talking about Kelvin, and I was like, "Who the fuck is Kelvin?"
Should we start measuring pitch speed in kilometers per hour too?
I think so, man. He's throwing gas. 160. Yeah. Way more fun. I mean, we really should use the metric system, but that's neither here nor there. You're probably super pro, not the metric system, aren't you?
Why?
I don't know. I would just expect you to be like, no, that's our system is our system.
Oh, like take pride in the American way?
Yeah.
When it comes to measurements, I'm not necessarily heavy one way or the other.
You're not Team America on that one.
I would say, yes, only because that's what I know, and why would I want to change that?
That's a good point.
Seems American enough.
Yeah, that's the American thought process. That's for sure.
What I'm saying, yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
Which is bullshit, man. We got some of the smartest, most innovative people in the world, but we got a lot of fat people and lazy people too, but let's not put everyone in the one category.
I agree. I lost my tab. So Rangers are 5th in ownership on FanDuel, tied for 8th on DraftKings. Mariners are 7th on FanDuel, 11th on DraftKings. We're getting some love here. I think that's pretty obvious that we should. Both pitchers, not great. Excellent hitters park. I think that the Rangers... So I have been pretty heavy on the Rangers as of late. I am now the opposite for this particular game. Odor is at 21%. Chu at 21%. Those are both FanDuel numbers. How do you feel about the Rangers? We'll start there.
Mike Leake's allowed 25 home runs this year. So outside of T-Mobile, you could see him get into a little bit of trouble. Get this. I think you'll appreciate this. He's allowed 25 home runs. 20 of them have come on the road.
Wow. Okay.
20 of the 25 have come outside of T-Mobile. So if you're wondering how good of a park it is for pitchers, look no further. I mean, it is a really, it has really protected him a lot this season. I've looked at some recent numbers on Mike Leake. He's not really doing anything that much differently than we've seen before. I'm saying because he actually has been better. His velocity is exactly the same. You look at the usage on his pitches. It really not much has changed. He's throwing the cutter a little bit more. And the cutter in the month of July is getting whiffs at 9.5%. So I'm just not sold on it. You go into Globe Life with 100 degrees and one of the best hitters park. I like Texas quite a bit.
I like pieces of it, that's for sure. The power is scary. Only Chu and Andrews are in double digits. Danny Santana's 5,300, which is too expensive, but the rest of these guys are pretty reasonable. I'm just not sure that I get to a lot because there's no leverage to be found on any of the pitching. I'm happy to get some of these bats because it's a great offensive environment, but I don't get the sense I'm going to get a lot of either team. I like Domingo Santana a lot here.
Yeah, look, the Rangers are never exactly a particularly fun team to stack for one reason or another, especially against lefties. Against righties, it's a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But, having Joey Gallo on the injured list certainly doesn't help.
No.
I would agree with you that the pieces of this game make more sense than a full stack. But with Mike Leake's just propensity to give up power, specifically outside of Seattle, I'm never going to ignore Texas in a spot like this either.
No, I will have significant pieces of this game, just less full stacks than I would expect. But one-offs of Chu, Mazzara, Odor, only 4,100, 9% ownership on DK. That's fine. On FanDuel, I don't really need him in GPPs at 21%. Oh my God,
Tyreek Hill just got carted off the field. Sorry, go ahead.
I've got a million comments for that one. Most of them I probably can't make on this stream right now.
Did you listen to the whole call?
No.
Who knows at this point, man? I'm not passing judgment.
Let's just say the only thing that I will say.
Let's just say I have him on 3 of my teams.
Oh yeah, well I mean it wouldn't stop me from playing him, but I don't ever get the sense that these things just come out of nowhere.
No, totally agree with you.
There's
we're in the fantasy realm.
I mean, he's riding shotgun in the cart going off.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm sure people don't like this, but I'm not big on espousing virtues on Twitter when guys do things wrong because it's not my job to decide on that. Sorry, it's fantasy, and our job is to tell you where the right plays are and who belongs in lineups or not. If we think they can help you win, then we're going to talk about it.
Exactly.
It ain't church.
Right. Favorite.
I ain't your priest.
Anyway, more things I can't talk about right now.
Well, you just want to go off right now.
I've got jokes.
No, I'm not even trying to be funny either.
I am.
Okay. I'm being dead serious. Like I'll leave the here's how you should see this and morally here's how you should feel about it. I'll leave that to somebody else.
Yeah, that's not my game on Twitter either.
Anyway,
favorite bat, Rangers, Mariners. Then we'll get out of this game.
I don't know. Maybe Chu. He's come down in price quite a bit.
He has. I can't disagree, and he's picking up the ownership. But give me Domingo Santana on the sneak tip.
Okay.
Alrighty. Moving on. It's about that time, man. It's about that time. The White Sox hosting the New York Mets. 4.1 run implied total for the White Sox. 4.9 for the Mets. A 59% chance to win for New York. Going for the White Sox, $9,200 on FanDuel, Ronaldo Lopez. Going for the Mets, Noah Syndergaard.
Crazy.
Syndergaard, 32% ownership on Yahoo, 13 on FanDuel at 10.6, 26 at 10.3 on DraftKings. He is tied for the second most ownership on DraftKings right now, and the third highest owned guy on FanDuel. All right, we'll start here. Pay attention to if he even starts this game. I don't think that it is out of the realm of possibility that he is not a Met tomorrow.
You think so?
It wouldn't shock me. At the very least, it's worth paying attention to now that they got Stroman. If you think that you can get more, if you think they're relatively similar starters, but you can get more back for Syndergaard than you could to give up for Stroman, it might be worth a shot. Who knows? But just pay attention to that. Anyway. How do you want to manage chalky Syndergaard here? I know how you and Adam generally feel. I think that he is the best combination of price and matchup on the slate, and I completely understand the ownership, and I will probably be right there with them.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I also get that he's had 30 fantasy points in 3 of 20 starts this season.
Oh, that's pretty good. 20 is a
Uh,
lot.
what?
I'm trying to justify playing Syndergaard every week.
Yeah, I mean, look, I get it, and the guy continuously has good matchups, but 15% of his starts this year have been 30 plus fantasy points. Compare that to guys like Bieber and Verlander and granted, I know some of these guys are more expensive, but I mean, I just it all makes sense. It's the White Sox. They have one of the highest K rates in the league. They're dealing with some significant injuries to actually Jimenez is back, right? Yeah, Jimenez is back.
Not in the projected lineup right now, though.
No,
Mm-mm.
Anderson's still out. I mean, all in all, it's just a really good matchup, and I can understand why he's getting the ownership. But let me put it to you this way: I wouldn't be surprised if Syndergaard once again disappoints. Like it happens so often, man. And by disappoints, it gives you 20 fantasy points. Like, okay, great, that was fun. So yeah,
It's I don't know what to do, man. The White Sox are just such an appealing matchup.
they are. I totally get it. Look, I'm not even good. Last week, I was a whole lot more willing to pivot off of Syndergaard because Bieber was the same price.
Right.
What I thought was a very good matchup. This one, I don't know if there's anyone like right there where I think it makes for the easiest pivot. Like not Bieber, not Morton.
I mean, the only downside for him is the park, but look, he does not get hit hard. He's over the last 2 seasons a .096 x ISO against lefties, 1.0 or .105 against righties. It's not like he's going out there and getting bombed. It's a stat accumulation thing.
Mm-hmm.
This feels as safe as it can be, which is usually a statement I make on days where people screw me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't get away from him. He's the cheapest of the 5-digit pitchers. I can't imagine wanting to take Bieber from his matchup over him. If I'm dropping down, I prefer him to Darvish, Odorizzi, David Price. So at that point in time, it's basically just, do you like Noah Syndergaard more than you like Justin Verlander? And I think it's hard not to.
Yeah, their ownership isn't that far apart to where Verlander would be a much more appealing play.
This is as good as it's going to get for Syndergaard other than just having this game happen in a different stadium.
You know what else is pretty significant here, by the way? The White Sox do not have an ample amount of speed on the base paths either.
I know nothing about it.
They got maybe a couple guys, but they don't have that much speed.
I'll say this much. I certainly don't want White Sox hedge stacks.
No, I mean, but you mentioned it. It's not it's not a spot where Syndergaard, even if he struggles, is going to give up 3 home runs.
Right. That would be very, very surprising.
This seems very unlikely.
I can't get away from him here. Talk to me about what you want to do with this piece of information. Mets are 9th in ownership on FanDuel and 2nd on DraftKings against our boy Ronaldo. I'm going to go ahead and say that I don't think it's crazy. I have the Mets as my 3rd favorite stack today.
Yeah.
Top of the lineup is just really easy to get to.
I think so too. And, when you look at Ronaldo Lopez recently, a lot of these performances have come against teams that just have absolutely nothing offensively. Oakland, sure, that was a good start. And Tampa, I guess I have to give it to him there. Oakland's just been really dreadful though. And Miami, of course, you know what you're getting from that. I mean, I think Ronaldo Lopez, while he's definitely someone that can go out and give you a bunch of Ks versus righties and, actually is a high upside guy at times when he gets the right matchup. This to me does not feel like the right matchup. And I would expect I would expect to see a pretty good shot that the Mets come out with some strong numbers, and they can get pretty lefty heavy too. That's where he really struggles to get strikeouts, to get outs. If you have McNeil, Conforto atop the lineup, maybe Cano is waking up a little bit. It's doubtful, but Pete Alonso, one of the premier power bats in the league. I hear you on this one. I have no issues with that at all.
Ninth on ownership on FanDuel is a little bit more appealing to me. That makes it more likely that I get there, but I'm going to have some Mets. I wish that Lopez was picking up a little ownership. The $7,700 price is a little bit better on DK, but I think FanDuel forgot about him and left him at $9,200 for. They must have accidentally priced him like it was a turbo slate or something.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
Yeah. I can't get away from Syndergaard. I'm not going to get away from Mets bats. This is a decent spot. Lopez certainly has a propensity to get blown up. 202 x ISO against lefties over the past 2 seasons, just an 18% K rate. Shout out to my boy Conforto. You might be my dong pick today, brother.
I have no problem with that at all. I like the lefties. I like this Mets team in general, actually.
Yeah.
What is their run total today?
I have it at 4.9. You probably see like 5 or 5.1.
I have it at 5-1, yeah.
Look at me. Called it.
Nice.
I don't have anything else here. Conforto, my favorite bat in the game.
I'm with you.
Well, I shouldn't even say it like that. I mean, if Cano is really actually waking up, 3,300 for a second baseman is my favorite spot, but he has been not great for so long that I don't know if it's real or not.
Dude, he leaves such a sour taste in your mouth and then hits 3 home runs when you have no interest at all.
Yep. Yeah.
And then goes back to being garbage. So I'm just gonna say that was that
aberration.
Aberration, yeah.
Okay. Royals and Blue Jays. 4.6 run implied total for the Royals, 4.4 for the Jays, 51% chance to win for KC. Mike Montgomery going for the Royals, Sean Reed Foley going for the BJs. No ownership going on either side. I don't want Montgomery. I don't want Sean Reed Foley.
Nope. That's very simple. I'm not even going to go any further with that.
Perfect.
I think you hit it on the head.
Both teams in like the mid. The Royals are like 13th in ownership on both sites. Blue Jays 14th or 15th. I don't really have much interest in either team as a full stack. Are you looking at either the Royals or the Blue Jays here?
No, not really. I mean, Montgomery is not great, but by the way, I know he's allowed some power this season. Montgomery's never been a guy though that allows a lot of power. So I don't know. I just don't ever feel confident in going out there and seeing Montgomery as just like the worst pitcher ever. I know he struggled. Again, I'm not going to act like it's been a good season out of the bullpen for Montgomery because it hasn't. But like his numbers against lefties, there's just there's no way those are they're sustainable. 526 BABIP. Like, come on now, that's crazy, right? He's not good. I just don't think he's as bad as his numbers have shown this year. And another thing too is, how many pitches is he going to throw anyway? Maybe 65, 70. And with Sean Reed Foley, another one of those guys where I have no interest in rostering him, but he's not David Hess either.
No, he's not. I can't roster either guy. Sean Reed Foley doesn't appear to be on Yahoo either. I really like Gurriel, 4,800. Just lots of success against lefties. Tough park. I don't know. This is not a spot where I'm trying to find any offense.
Me neither. Or anything for that matter.
No. I mean, I'll always roster Grichuk for 3,400 as an outfielder because he's probably just going to hit a solo dong. So works for me as a one-off. But otherwise, I just don't like anything in this game.
Me neither.
The full aversion. Cool. Let's keep going. Cardinals and Cubs. 4.2 run implied total for the Cards, 4.5 for the Cubs. 54% chance to win for Chicago. Adam Wainwright going for the Cardinals. Yu Darvish going for the Cubs. Similar ownership, I guess, to both guys. 18 for Wainwright on Yahoo, 5 on FanDuel, 15 on DK. Darvish 7 on Yahoo, 11 on FanDuel, 10 on DK. So both guys picking up a little bit of love I prefer Darvish to Wainwright. Don't have any like strong feelings for either guy, but I would rather get to Darvish. I don't think the Cardinals are very good. Talk to me about the pitching. Do you like either Wainwright or Darvish?
Marcell Ozuna is still out. My guess is that Dexter Fowler is going to be back. He pinch hit and homered 2 days ago.
I have him in the lineup today.
After missing a day. Matt Carpenter's still out. Yadi Molina is also still out. It definitely impacts them pretty significantly. Sure, they went out there and had the good game against like Lyles and Musgrove, but I don't necessarily expect that to continue. Their active roster, I mean, with these injuries, their active rosters, these rates are really not good. And I think it's shown recently. The strikeouts have kind of really just been fluctuating. We've seen a lot of that, but look, right around the league average, if not a little bit higher, 13th in the league in strikeouts, but they have a 90 WRC plus. 90. You're talking about ranking down there with the Reds and the Marlins and the Giants. I mean, it is really not good. And they're 161 ISO. You would think that this team would have more power. Losing Ozuna and Carpenter has really hurt them. Bottom 4 in ISO. So yeah, I think just looking at Darvish here, I believe he's a little bit overpriced.
Yeah.
And I actually think I like Odorizzi a little bit more. And the reason for that is just simple. While the St. Louis Cardinals are not very good, you can't stack those lineups against each other, Marlins and Cardinals, and say that one of them is not a much better lineup or should be a much better lineup than the other.
That's very true. I can't disagree with you there. It's a good point. I do like Darvish. 8,300 on FanDuel for Darvish, I think, is a pretty nice price. But Odorizzi 7,300, so
right.
I'd rather have Odorizzi there, just given those price tags.
If you want, yeah, right. If you wanted to go Darvish over Odorizzi on DraftKings, I totally understand it because he does have a 27.2% K rate.
Yeah.
You know that's pretty favorable.
His struggles are against lefty power. That's not exactly what's coming out of Tommy Edman or Colton Wong.
Exactly right. So Odorizzi's K rate is a little bit lower than Darvish. His walk rate is also lower than Darvish, and so is his home run rate. But his xFIP is higher. They're very comparable on DraftKings. That's why I'd probably just go with the much better matchup, even if their rates are similar. But this year, like you can't tell me Goldschmidt and DeYoung aren't better than
everybody.
Neil Walker.
They're better than all of the Marlins. Every
right.
single one of them.
Right. Exactly.
Look, I'm going to get to a little bit of Darvish. I'll probably get to a little bit of Wainwright. Neither guy is a priority. Any number that I get, I'm not really going to bat an eye at. $52 Darvish on Yahoo, though. I can go ahead and skip that one.
I like Kyle Schwarber today.
He's hitting 8th. Interesting.
You have him batting 8th? Projected to bat 8th?
Yeah. Robel Garcia in the leadoff spot. I like that a lot for 3,500. He is going basically unowned.
If Schwarber bats 8th, I'd definitely be less interested in that. And
I don't agree. Unowned. If he moves to the leadoff spot, he probably gets like 15% ownership.
Yeah, I guess you're right. But 8th sucks.
Certainly does. I mean, I like the Cubs here. They are 16th in ownership on both sites, but it's all just 1s and 2s outside of Garcia in the leadoff spot. I mean, they're just better than that. It's not a great park. Wainwright's solid. I thought that he was washed. It doesn't appear that that's the case. Sometimes you just need to bet on talent if it's going unowned. So I kind of like getting some shares of the Cubs, but it's not like a priority.
Yep.
I don't have anything else here, I guess. I mean, I don't find any Cardinals bats appealing.
No, I think we kind of talked about it already. Schwarber seems to be the guy here. Like you said, it's a little bit less appealing given where he's projected to bat, and then what you say, Robel Garcia projected to lead off.
Yeah, that's what I have right now.
That's really appealing as well.
All right, 3 to go. We're finally getting to the one that matters most-ish. Colorado Rockies hosting the Dodgers. I've got 6.5 runs for the Rocks, 7.5 for the Dodgers, 58% chance to win for LA. Kyle Freeland going for the Rockies. Julio Urias, I think, going for the Dodgers. Freeland, 2% ownership right now. So I pitch my case.
Dude, I've been waiting all morning for this.
Well, prepare to be let down.
Oh, I am. Don't worry.
So, Kyle Freeland, over the past 2 seasons, has a 28% strikeout rate and a 103 X ISO allowed to left-handers. Now, that's a really good setup to face the Dodgers. The Dodgers are significantly scarier from the left side of the plate than they are for the right side. Freeland is doing very well at limiting lefties. 18% K rate against righties. That's where he gives up a little bit more of the power. So Turner and Pollock certainly scare me. Will Smith has pop, but it's not like he's a good hitter. You get Negron, you get the pitcher. If they maintain if they maintain 4 or more lefty bats, I think Freeland looks okay for 4,400. It's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. But I like him at 4,400 if they keep those lefties in there because he's actually really good against left-handed pitching or left-handed hitters.
What's the strikeout stuff against lefties?
28% against lefties over the past 2 seasons.
Is it?
Yeah. Like that's good.
Yeah, no. Look, it is. But I also think that we've seen a very different Kyle Freeland this season. Not necessarily sure what it is, but he is still striking lefties out at a pretty high clip. The issue is he's also, and the thing is the sample is very small on him for 2019.
Yeah.
Like, because he is allowing a lot of power to lefties, but that's relative to how many of them he's seen, which isn't a lot. I think the big problem here for me is even if you have a number of lefties in here, like Muncy and Bellinger, both of whom can hit lefties, and Seager and Jott. Justin Turner is one of the righties that you'd be a little bit concerned about. And then, yeah, you're right. Kike Hernandez on the injured list is a huge hit if you're looking to go up against a southpaw. But you do have Pollock healthy.
Yeah.
So, like, I see what you're saying. I just don't know if it's going to be enough. And as good as he's been against lefties, the Dodgers are just so good overall. Look, we saw what John Gray did yesterday, but I'm of the belief that John Gray is a good pitcher. So I see what you're saying. I don't see myself getting there, but I think the argument is at least a logical one.
Yeah, I'm going to get there much more than the 2% the public says.
And the Dodgers' active roster against lefties actually is not good.
I think this for 4,400, like if he was like 58, like he is on FanDuel, but that was his DK price, I'd be like, oh, screw this. You do not need much out of 4,400. And the strikeouts in theory should be there. I mean, he should be able to pick up 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're middle of the league against lefties striking out this year. Losing Hernandez is pretty big.
I mean, in this spot, yeah. I mean, just in general, sure. In this spot, even more so.
But he was, I don't want to say he anchored the team against lefties because he didn't, but he was a really nice guy to have in there against lefties for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, the lineup is going to tell the story here. The hope will be that they run out. I mean, look, these lefties are not like typical lefties. Verdugo, Bellinger, Muncy, Seager. These guys are good. But I'm willing to take that chance. Look, the Dodgers are the chalkiest stack on FanDuel. They're the chalkiest stack on DraftKings. So I even get a little bit of bump there from just, if Kyle Freeland throws well, that means all of these Dodger stacks are in the toilet. At least for the first couple innings of the game. 4,400, I just can't get away from that price tag for someone with that kind of strikeout rate against left-handers.
Cody Bellinger has 11 home runs against lefties this year. Is that right?
That wouldn't shock me.
It wouldn't?
No, not at all.
That's insane.
I mean, he's just really damn good.
He has a 311 ISO against lefties?
I will say this. I'm very worried about Justin Turner and AJ Pollock. Turner in particular.
He has 11 home runs against. My God, that's outrageous.
He,
We still got a couple months to go.
homie's good.
Still got a couple months to go. Wow. Max Muncy has what? 7 home runs against lefties. He has a 232 ISO. Yeah, I'll pass on Freeland here.
Okay. Well, you must not like money. What do you think of Urias?
I don't know ever what to make of Julio Urias because coming up he was like the phenom. He was the next big thing. They don't really even need him.
No.
Um,
He's still
he
young.
has what?
Ah, he's 22.
Oh, dude. When he came up, he was like 19, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
He'll be 23 next week.
not a whole lot to worry about here.
No.
But how many pitches is he going to throw?
I gave him 3 innings.
Right.
I think that's probably aggressive given his recent history.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm not super worried about him there.
Bruised quad for Tyreek Hill. Anyway,
number 1 ownership Dodgers. Are they your number 1 stack today?
Probably Yankees and then Dodgers.
Yeah.
Really like the Diamondbacks.
So do I. On DraftKings, the Diamondbacks have the biggest gap between where I have them ranked and their ownership.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is usually a telling sign that I will be on a team pretty heavily. Second highest number is the Astros, which surprises me a little bit. Probably won't get to them just because of pricing. Third highest number, though, New York Yankees. I think we're on the same page there.
Let me ask you about this real quick, and then we'll move to the next game. Urias is a lefty, obviously. With Arenado and Story, you don't know who they're going to be facing. After that, I would assume that you're going to see quite a bit of righty relievers, being that Blackman is. I don't know if he's going to be in the lineup. If he's not, because he's already sat for 2 straight games. If he's not, then you don't really have all that much to worry about other than like David Dahl. I don't think Daniel Murphy's scaring the hell out of anybody. So what do you make of like Arenado and Story probably only seeing him once?
Yeah, so they are 4th in ownership on FanDuel right now, tied for 6th on DK. Most ownership going to Story and Arenado. Story 23% on DraftKings or on FanDuel right now, actually. I mean, I like them. They're really expensive.
Yep.
Like clearly they're good. I assume I get less Rockies. I mean, I they're at like 6% ownership right now. I figure I'm in that area. I want to have parts of them, but I mean, you're really paying up. They're on a day where 28 teams play. I think it's pretty easy to, find a stack that's getting a little bit less love somewhere else. But let's be clear here. This is a Coors game with a 14-run total. Offense is to be had here.
I'm just not super high on the Rockies today.
Yeah, I don't disagree. They're expensive. I mean, Charlie Blackmon's $5,800. They've got 5 guys north of $5K.
And the Dodgers have a solid bullpen as well.
Now, they are easy to stack from an ownership perspective. They're not all that popular as a 5-some. Right. If you want to pay $4K for Chris Iannetta against a lefty, maybe once. He's at 4% ownership. Only Story and Arenado are in double digits on DraftKings.
I guess Dodgers bullpen has come back down to earth a little bit now that I look at it. Yeah, I don't know. If the ownership plays heavily into it, then in a 14-game total where they have one of the highest totals on the slate, Colorado obviously makes sense. I'd want to see what's going on with Blackman, and if he's not in the lineup, who's going to replace him? Where are they going to bat? What's the lineup going to look like? Because we've seen some real weird and ugly configurations at times for this Rockies team that makes them harder to stack.
So, if the Dodgers are the chalk stack, how does that hash out for you? Do you think you're under, over, or neutral?
I would think I'd be under only because that would mean that you're going to see less of the Yankees.
Yeah, I think I agree as well.
Keep in mind, once you get above a 7-run total, it kind of doesn't matter, right?
No, it doesn't.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yankees might not be 7.7, but 7-1 is up there. So yeah.
Alrighty, 2 to go. I don't know if I did the timestamp for that game. I did. Sometimes you're
I'm
good.
sure you did. Yeah, you're it's becoming second nature.
It's starting to. I only missed the first one today, so I'll take it. Angels and Tigers. 6.1 run implied total for the Angels, 3.9 for the Tigers. A 70% chance to win for LA. Griffin Canning going for the Angels. Drew Verhagen going for the Tigers. No ownership going to Verhagen. But here we go. 27% ownership going to Griffin Canning on Yahoo. 28 on FanDuel, where he's 6,700. 36% on DK, where he's 7,900. Let me introduce you to the chalk pitcher of the day, Griffin Canning. How do you feel?
I get it.
So do I.
I mean,
I didn't think that it would be getting this much ownership.
I feel like Canning should be better than his numbers show, but I totally understand it. He's really, I don't want to say underpriced, but very, very favorably priced. And one of the biggest issues has been power to lefties and righties, but Detroit just is zapped of power, man.
Yeah. Especially
really
if they trade Castellanos or something today.
Right. They just don't have it, man. He's got a 25% strikeout rate, which at that price is perfectly fine. 13.6% swinging strike rate. So if you sort by some of these numbers, I mean, Griffin Canning has the fourth highest swinging. Well, I won't even count Urias. He's got the third highest swinging strike rate on the slate. You know, he's got a 31.4% called plus swinging strike rate. So you know that he can get it. That's also the fourth highest on the slate. He should be getting more strikeouts than he is, but 25.2%, man, against this team, 26% against righties, which he's going to see a lot of today. I get that he struggled. Totally understand that. I know he's had a couple of rough outings, but once again, if there's a team that can, remedy your troubles, it's the Marlins and it's the Tigers, and they've done a whole lot of it this season.
Yeah, I'm going to keep a close eye on Castellanos on the off chance he's not in that lineup. If he's not, this looks even better. Look, the strikeout stuff is there, but he also has a propensity to give up some runs. The 3.9 run implied total, incredibly helpful for me in this spot. I assume that I'm right around the field, particularly on FanDuel. 6,700 really opens up everything for you for all of those expensive bats. Look, I think that, I don't want to say that he's a necessity. I think that he makes for a pretty obvious cash pitcher. I would say that Syndergaard Canning is probably the cash pairing I like the most.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
It's the clear cash pairing, actually.
Yeah. No ownership really going to the Tigers bats. They weren't getting it yesterday either, and I ended up with like 7 times the field. Kind of worked out.
Nice.
Angels, 10th on FanDuel, tied for 8th on DraftKings. Do you have interest in the Angels bats 6.1 run implied total against Drew Verhagen?
Yeah, of course I do. They were disappointing yesterday, though.
They certainly were. I was freaking out thinking I didn't get enough Angels. Turned out it worked.
Yeah, sure did, huh? But they're still, one of the most potent teams in the league. They still got some of the best hitters, whether it's Trout, Ohtani, Upton's very, very, very cheap. Even Cole Calhoun. Now, a lot of these guys are outfielders. I don't see it as being a full stack situation here, but they have a high total once again, which should surprise nobody. What's their total at? I think it was above 6 last I looked. 6.2.
I was gonna say I have 6.1, so I'm figuring you see slightly higher than that.
Yeah. By the way, the Griffin Canning is also a huge favorite here as well.
Yeah. 70% chance to win. It's the highest line on the slate.
Yeah, minus 241. I like the Angels, but I don't know how many 5-mans you're going to get.
Agreed. Really like Ohtani, like Cole Calhoun. Those would be the 2 bats that I like the most here. Obviously, Trout is Mike Trout. But I don't really think I have much else that I want to say here.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. I'll have some Angels. It won't be a lot, but it'll be, probably comparable to the field. I'd rather have the Yankees.
For sure. So would I.
Final game. Oakland A's, Milwaukee Brewers, 5-run implied total for the A's. 4.4 for the Brew Crew, 57% chance to win for Oakland. Chris Bassett going for the A's, Adrian Hauser going for the Brewers. Neither guy getting any ownership. Do you have any interest in Bassett or Hauser?
No, I do not.
That is the correct answer. So let's start with ownership for hitters. A's right now, 18th on FanDuel, 19th on DraftKings. No ownership whatsoever. Are you targeting against Adrian Hauser?
Yeah, they do have a total above 5, which is actually surprising to me.
Yeah.
But let me put it this way. In a vacuum, you could make a pretty good argument for it, but this is our 14th game. You and I it's in Oakland. It's not in Milwaukee.
Right.
And we've already talked about so many teams that are really viable stacks, viable mini stacks, one-offs, everything. It's just really hard for me to get excited about either one of these teams on a 14-game slate.
Hauser with a 120 x ISO against both hands in Oakland now. Fantastic pitcher's park. This just doesn't strike me as the spot where the Oakland A's become the highest scoring stack. I have no interest there.
No, it's really tough for me to have any interest in this either.
Now, Milwaukee, 21st in ownership on FanDuel, unowned, 15th on DraftKings, completely unowned except for $2,200 Travis Shaw.
I'm still not getting there.
I would be happy to pick pieces out of Milwaukee. Bassett has some struggles depending on the pitch.
Yeah, lefty power's gotten them a little bit, but
I don't need to pay $5,600 for Christian Yelich in Oakland.
Right. The 4.5 run total is, get this, it is the 6th lowest on the entire slate.
Yeah. It's really hard to advocate a full stack here.
Dodgers, Yankees, Rockies, Angels, Rangers, Royals, Nats, Phillies, Mariners, Blue Jays, Braves, Reds, A's, Mets, all above 5 runs. Brewers aren't even close. And Vegas, it's not everything, right? The implied total is not everything, but I just don't see them opening this one up.
I agree. I don't have much interest. I like Moustakas. I get why Travis Shaw is going to get some love at 2,200. That certainly makes things work. It's just not the game. There's better offensive spots out there.
Yeah, there are. No, I mean, I really just don't have a ton of interest. We've really gone in depth with a lot of the games on this slate that we like. It's hard to get excited about this one.
I agree. 14 games up, 14 games down, and we got them all done in an hour and 53 minutes.
Oh,
we're good at this.
Be out at 11:30. Perfect timing. We've been nailing that 11:30 mark every Tuesday.
We have. So let's do this. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I mentioned at the top of the show later today, 2:30 p.m. Ben Rasa, Tim Frank talking Wyndham. I think the Wyndham Championship PGA. We'll have a deeper dive, 4:45. Laffy, Adam, and the boss man, Alex Baker, leading into Live Before Lock, Jake Hari, Chris Randone. Split links today. I won't be producing that show, but we're going to be looking to do that moving forward. Hit 1,100 on the deeper dive yesterday.
Sweet, man. Sweet.
Can't
wait for football to roll around.
There you go. We'll see the viewership spike there. Deep dive from Adam will be out in the early afternoon. Laffy, anything else? Any plugs? Plug Sirius.
Yeah. So Saturdays, Sundays, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. It is 6 to 8 actually this week. Actually, I'm going to be on with Ray Flowers today, filling in for someone from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern time. But Awesemo Radio, Saturday, Sunday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern. Getting ready for football season. Exclusively NFL talk. It's a lot of fun. Tune in. Sirius 210 XM87. And on your phones and speakers on the Sirius XM app.
Love it. You can do that one in your sleep, can't you?
Yeah, I think I messed it up a little bit, but yeah, it's,
Nobody knows.
On your phone or at home on Sirius XM connected devices and speakers. That's it.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Check out all the rest of the content for the rest of the day. And best of luck. We'll talk to you again later. Adios.